The San Francisco DA is typically looking into crimes like rape and murder, but now you are increasingly looking at crimes against workers. Why are you pursuing this case against DoorDash?
Well, good to be here with you, Emily, and always a pleasure to speak about issues involving public safety. That's exactly why we are looking into cases like the one we filed yesterday against DoorDash. We understand that often the crimes that impact the most people and do the most damage to public trust and public safety are crimes that most district attorneys' offices don't investigate or pursue at all. Crimes like misclassifying workers or wage theft on a massive scale, which is exactly what our lawsuit alleges DoorDash has been doing for years. We know that in order to keep the public safe and in order to build trust in the criminal justice system, we have to start enforcing the laws equally. It's not enough to simply prosecute people arrested on street corners. We need to also make sure we're investigating crimes committed in corporate boardrooms.
This is based on a controversial law that went into effect in January, ruling that workers like delivery drivers should be considered employees, and it's on the companies to prove otherwise. What exactly do you think DoorDash is doing wrong?
Well, let me just say, I don't view the law as controversial. We've had all three branches of California government speak to it. I understand there's opposition within some tech companies, but the reality is the California Supreme Court has ruled on the issue. The California legislature has codified the Supreme Court ruling, and the governor has spoken to the issue as well. The allegation is that DoorDash is systematically and intentionally misclassifying its employees as independent contractors. And it's doing so in order to avoid fairly competing with other companies and in order to avoid complying with laws that protect workers and require paying into state unemployment and workers' compensation funds.
So what about Uber? What about Lyft? What about Instacart? All of these companies fall under a similar umbrella. Will you be taking action against them too?
We're certainly not going to limit our economic crimes against workers unit, which I created a few weeks ago, to one lawsuit.
So are you actively working or pursuing cases against those companies as well?
My colleagues in the Attorney General's office and a number of city attorneys' offices filed a similar lawsuit against Uber and Lyft a couple weeks ago. I do expect that whether it's from my office or from other government agencies around the state, that some of the other companies you list will be required to comply with the law that defines and determines who is an employee and who is an independent contractor. I think we've seen a number of these companies engage in flagrant violations, much to the detriment of their employees, the public as a whole, and the state of California.
Now, in a response, DoorDash gave us this statement saying, today's action seeks to disrupt the essential services Dashers provide, stripping hundreds of thousands of students, teachers, parents, retirees, and other Californians of valuable work opportunities, depriving local restaurants of desperately needed revenue and making it more difficult for consumers to receive prepared food, groceries, and other essentials safely and reliably. What's your response to that?
It simply misstates the core issue, which is DoorDash's refusal to abide by the law and to pay its fair share. It's unfair to other companies that follow the law. It's unfair to employees who have, in many instances, been paid less than minimum wage and given no benefits that the law requires. And it's unfair to the taxpayers of California who are left footing the bill when we have massive surges in unemployment and there's no money in our state unemployment fund because companies like DoorDash have illegally refused to contribute their fair share.
Now, you're saying these workers deserve minimum wage, overtime, sick leave, other protections, even restitution. What would DoorDash, in your view, have to do to make this right? I mean, are you talking about years of back pay?
Well, the statute provides remedies that are quite clear, and we lay them out in detail in the complaint we filed in court yesterday. I believe the statute contemplates $2,500 in penalties per violation, which can be doubled in some instances if the violation is against an employee who is disabled or in some other protected class.
DoorDash has been fighting this law along with some of these other companies. If the law is overturned, what about that?
Assembly Bill 5 is the law at issue and under which our lawsuit falls. Let's be very clear about a couple things. DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, other companies are very welcome to engage in lobbying and the legislative process to change the law if they disagree with it. What they cannot do and will not be allowed to do on my watch is flagrantly violate the law as it exists.
Have you been talking to workers? I'm curious what they're telling you.
Yes, we've gotten a lot of feedback, overwhelmingly supportive. Many people have reached out over social media and other means, urging us to expand the lawsuit to include some of the other companies you mentioned. People feel that it's outrageous that they've had the tips given to them garnished by their employer, that they've been mistreated, that they've been forced to sign contracts of adhesion, and that they've been basically working in conditions that make it impossible for them to get the full benefits of being an employee.
Now, some other things your office is doing with tech companies, you're partnering with Airbnb and Lyft to fight domestic violence. I'd love to hear about other issues, other potential cases that you're exploring as it pertains to the tech community.
Absolutely. Well, look, San Francisco is and long has been home to the tech industry. It's a great part of this city's economy and workforce and our cultural identity. We're eager to work with all those companies that contribute to the city and that follow the law. I'm really excited about our partnership with Airbnb that provides no-cost housing in emergency circumstances to victims of domestic violence, or our partnership with Lyft that allows victims of sexual assault to get free transportation to a hospital where they can have a rape kit collected. Those kinds of partnerships promote public safety, just as our lawsuit against DoorDash does as well.